Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of A Cup of Joe. My name is Joe Escobedo, and with me today on the show is Jace Coe. Thanks for being on the show,
Hello.
Jace.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So Jace is the director of U Ventures based in Singapore, and she's an expert in all things kind of small business, entrepreneurship, accounting, and so on. So really excited to have you on the show. And to get to know you a bit more, how would you describe what you do to a 5-year-old?
My daughter is 5 years old this year. I usually tell her that mom is out there trying to save the world because my job is to help SMEs in Singapore. And SMEs forms the leaders, and they are the ones who are supporting the employees. So SMEs forms 99% of all the businesses in Singapore. I mean, probably worldwide as well. So my job is to help them understand the financials and the business strategies on how they can cope with all different situations, for example, in this pandemic.
Awesome. So mom is essentially a superhero.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And in the past, we've talked a lot about grants, and you've opened my eyes to some of the opportunities here in Singapore. But why do you think it's so important that SMEs in Singapore really explore these grant opportunities?
Okay, among all the countries, right, I think Singapore is one of the countries whereby our government is really supportive of SMEs and they set their vision. In a small country like Singapore, we have no natural resources, and human resource is the main resource that we have. So upgrading the skill and knowledge of this human is the government's vision, and how to align to that vision, they actually support you under the grant scheme. They find experts to help train your employees to ensure that they're the best candidate and people that you have to keep this Singapore good place to house your HQ. So we have all the experts here. That's why we house them.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. Like you said, Singapore is, their main advantage is the human capital. So making sure you're upskilling your employees, making sure that, people have the best resources to essentially grow, I think makes perfect sense. Now, a lot of the people listening to this, or at least my community, is in the marketing, sales, and training space. What are some of the grants do you think are relevant to folks like that?
Marketing, sales, and training. So you can look at grants on IMDA. There are some pre-approved solutions. Even Salesforce is pre-approved. So if you're looking to subscribe to those off-the-shelf solutions like that, there's actually a grant and support. But for foreigners, you have to look for a local partner. Singapore grants are actually to assist Singapore entities and also to help Singaporeans. So if you can find a local partner to hold at least 30% of the shares in Singapore, you can also write on these grants as you grow your company.
So if I heard that correctly, if you are a foreigner, but you have a company based in Singapore, do you qualify, or do you still need the local partner to have 30% of the company?
You still need a local partner to hold 30% of the company shares.
Got it. Okay. But if you're a Singaporean, you don't need it. You can go directly to and apply for a lot of these grants.
Yes, and we will just support you on your expansion, your whole digitalization, depending on what you want to do.
Got it. So just want to clarify, foreigners, is it also those who are hold a PR, permanent residency as well?
They're considered locals.
Oh, they're considered locals. Okay. So I'm considered a local then.
Yeah, yes. So
okay.
You can also look in, depending on the quantum of the grant that you're looking for, there are also EDG projects whereby there's no limit. They fund you up to 70% in terms of branding, digital marketing, strategies, all that. So you want to explore EDG as well. But if you are a service provider, what you want to do is get yourself qualified so that you can provide this as a service and your clients can tap on grants to do that.
Okay. So first step is get qualification if you're a service provider. What are some of the steps to get qualified?
One is to get yourself a professional management consultancy certificate. I can share the link with you shortly. So that maybe you can share the rest.
Yes.
Yeah. That they can get themselves qualified. But to get yourself qualified, you must be in the industry for X number of years and then have the kind of portfolio hours of commitment. You have to go through an exam. You'll go through an interview before they get you. You can get the certificate.
Wow. Okay. So how
Yeah.
long generally does the process take? I mean, in terms of like,
I got it within like 3 months.
okay.
After, depending on what you do.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
So got it. Essentially you can get it within 3 months. It's called the professional management consultancy. Is that correct?
There are three bodies. So I
Okay.
just need to three bodies who are looking at the certification again. Then I can
Oh,
advise you.
okay. Got it.
So you
So
either or.
either or. Okay. Got it. So once you have that, then you can, if you're a service provider, get that and then apply for the grants in question.
Because they will certify you as a professional in your profession. So like for myself, I'm
Yeah.
actually certified for financial services.
Mm,
So for companies who are looking into cash flow management, certain financial management, they can actually look for me. I can use the grant and help them do some assessment, financial analysis, and provide them the report so they know where they stand.
got it. So you can specialize in one specific grant. So for example, if you are in digital marketing, you could specialize in, say, social media marketing. That could be one of the specializations, for example.
Yes, for example, the marketing
Okay.
and branding, these are the two for the branding and marketing guys. They are under the same segment.
Okay. Got it. Okay. And then for those who, you mentioned also it covers 70% of something. What was that 70%? I might have missed that.
Up to 70% of what you are paying. The government funds you up to 70% of what you're paying. So example, if the project is 20,000, you only pay 6,000. The government will
Got it.
fund you 10,000.
So this is going back to the client side, correct? If you're spending 20,000 on a project that's related to marketing and branding, the government will fund 70% of that.
Up to
Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
70%.
Sorry. Up to 70%. Yes. So they'll fund
Yeah,
up to
because
70%. Got it.
it
That's actually
depends.
okay. And is that on a project by project basis, or is that something that, for example, if you have like an annual contract with a service provider, will they fund
It's
70% of that?
a project by project basis.
Got it.
They do not,
Okay.
there's a lot of terms and conditions to how the grant is applied. As in your marketing cost, the advertising cost, they actually don't cover that. They cover the professional fees and service.
Okay. So professional fees and service. Okay. So marketing and advertising costs would be like the cost to run, I don't know, an ad in SPH or an ad on LinkedIn. Is that what we mean by marketing and advertising cost?
As in, yeah, the cost to run ads, like you pay Google to run the
Yeah.
ads, right?
Yes.
The ads not included.
Not included. Okay. But if you were to pay someone, a specialist, to run those ads for you, then that would be potentially included in the covered by the grant.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got
What
it. But like you
strategy
said,
they're funding you for?
more
The
the
professional,
strategy.
the professional knowledge to plan and everything, to strategize, a lot more on such.
Okay. So more professional fees for the planning and strategy versus the execution.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. So if I think about this from a service provider's point of view, those who would benefit the most are those who are actually providing these more strategic plans for clients versus those who are doing, like, managing and executing the campaigns.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Got it. And then the same for the client as well. Those who, see the value of strategy, which, be honest, most organizations, especially SMEs, don't. Those that actually do can have their, some of the professional fees funded or at least covered by the grants by the government.
Yes, but
Okay.
I believe that if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
Afford, because a lot of times we can't afford. I understand SMEs, our pocket is so small, right? We can't
Yeah.
afford. Just telling you to spend more, and we will help you and grow, because only with the better guys, I mean, they have more capacity to help you grow, and you can see that, then you make more money, then you want to continue to engage them, you see. But why? Because we don't dare. That's how Singaporeans are, I believe.
Yeah, no, I think we could do a whole session on selling to SMEs, because yes, it's very, very different. Like you said, the funds are, there's a lot of scrutiny in terms of how you invest. So at least in my experience, the strategic part is discounted a lot because there's not a tangible thing you can take away. So for example, if I pay someone to run an ads or create a flyer, for example, I'm getting a tangible outcome. Now, a strategy, essentially, you could provide a strategic document or a guide, but whether or not they see a value from an SME's point of view it's a whole different ball game, I think.
Yes, because even I myself, I also question, so after doing this branding campaign, am I going to get what I think I would? The answer is, how do you apply what the branding guy says and your actual service delivery? They have to match to ensure it works. So it's a hand-in-hand thing. It's not a one-sided, no, this guy tell me this and then I try to apply, hey, it doesn't work. So whatever is told, the brand story and all that, the service delivery, the promise, you have to deliver what you say you do. Then it will work.
Absolutely, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I think the devil is always in the details. So you can have the best plan, but if you don't execute it, or you execute it in a very slow manner, then obviously it's not going to have the impact that you originally planned for. So it's a very good point. And in terms of taking folks through the step-by-step process, let's go through first the client and then the service provider side. So for the client side, you mentioned you're going to share a link with everybody. What are some of the steps they need to go through?
For clients to apply for grants?
Yes. Just the big ones. I know you do that for a living and I don't want to take away. Just like, what are some of the big things that they need to be thinking about?
Okay, generally, always get 3 quotes. Because you must have at least 3 quotes to compare. And you have to tell Enterprise Singapore why you're choosing this particular vendor out of the 3 quotes that you get. You have to justify. You have to do your own homework. Okay?
Got it.
Compare. Okay. So for guys who actually present your quote, waste your time, I'm so sorry. It's just part of homework for all SMEs that they really have to do that before they pin down and decide who to work with. And you have to go to the business grant portal. Click on the grants that you want to apply for, submit it, explain to them. There's some basic questionnaires. I mean, depending on the quantum. So grant quantums as low as few $100s, as high as few $100,000. Depending on the quantum of the grant, the level of required is different. So if it's like you're getting $200, what e-invoicing grant, it's just one click, fill out some details, press submit, is done. But if you're doing a 200,000 grant proposal, then you probably have at least a 40-page proposal in place. You're expected to go down for interviews. You'll be receiving calls explaining why you need to do this project, and really do you want to spend so much? Is there a need? Does what you spend match the size of the company? So if I'm running a very, very small company, how can I spend 200,000? Does it make sense, right?
Got it. Okay. So I imagine that's where, hiring someone like you who's an expert in this can help navigate some of these like I said, details, because like I said, that can make or break whether you get the grant. Got it. Yes. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Now, in terms of the service provider, you mentioned a couple of different steps, one of which is getting that certification. What are some of the other things that they need to do to qualify as a service provider?
They must have their own portfolios, engagement. Then they must write up about what they did for these clients, and they have to clock the professional hours. Because if I'm not wrong, minimally you must be able to your timesheet. You must be involved in projects and clock up to 300 hours of professional time doing what you say you are good at before they certify you.
Wow. Okay. I'm thinking about whether I put together timesheets. So like hour by hour timesheets, is that how detailed they would ultimately like it?
I estimated mine.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Project is easily like 3 months, 4 months, 2 months, 1 month,
or
2 weeks. So you just clock your time, just try to keep them down. You should be able to clock the time. And
Got
you
it.
have to list 3 major clients that you have and describe what you did for them.
Okay. I imagine a lot of people will get bogged down in the details and not know how to do it. I'm curious, because you've done this for many folks, what is the, how do I say it, like the success rate for approximately on your side? So for example, you have X number of companies or clients, you apply for the grants. What is usually the likelihood that they'll get it? Is it like 50%, around more than half?
We've not had a failed case. The difference is the quantum of the grant. You're expecting
Got it.
70, but usually you get 50. And, if you really can't justify, you get 30%. Some proposals we see it. So sometimes we are not the service provider, like you're doing a huge campaign on IT solution and on automation. We looked at the project and we are also not convinced that they will actually fund. So like we said, the nitty-gritty details, if you're just doing a website, they don't fund the website. But if there's some level of automation in the back end, like CRM system, integrations and all, we fund that portion. So it really depends on how the whole project is priced and how it what is put up.
Got it. So it's not an all or nothing kind of thing where they put it in a proposal. For example, if they have a breakdown and they say it's either all accepted or it's all failed. You're saying that some things might get rejected, some things might get funded. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Now I'm curious, what is the largest quantum that you've helped a client secure?
Large quantum.
Yeah.
Usually our quantum is up to around 80,000 of grant approved.
Okay.
Depending on the project that I'm on. The highest, as small as maybe 20-something thousand.
Okay.
Because anything more than that, you probably don't need us. Like I said, if it's a small project, you can probably do yourself.
Okay. So for a smaller project, you mentioned the steps are significantly lesser, but obviously for something that's 80K, above that, you essentially need someone. And above that, you would need someone 50 and above.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it's time, the amount of time you spend on writing that proposal, explaining to them what you are doing and all that, and you want to ensure that you have a professional because based on our experience, we have a lot of projects experience, and we can tell you like whether this vendor is suitable or what we really think. We also will advise our clients, or maybe want to like check a few more quotes. Like I said, you have to always check to be fair.
Got it. Okay. So I want to better understand kind of what your company does as well. You guys help not only in terms of the advisory, in terms of, obviously getting the 3 quotes, what that looks like. Do you guys also help in terms of like the execution? Like what does that proposal look like? Or like helping write the proposal, or do you kind of step in later afterwards?
We will help them write the proposals. So a lot of experts out there, right? Like an IT guy, they're very good in developing that thing, but it doesn't mean that they're good at writing that proposal to get the grant. So they will need us.
Got it. Okay. Thanks. Perfect sense. One question I forgot to ask earlier is, for service providers, is this most valuable if they're selling to SMEs? For example, if they're selling to enterprises or multinationals, does it make sense to get the grants, or it's more applicable if you're selling?
It's only for SMEs.
It's only for SMEs. Okay.
They are too big, so they may not qualify.
Not qualify. Okay, got it. So you're a service provider selling to other SMEs.
Yes, it's to support and help SMEs.
I'm curious because SMEs is one of those definitions I've always been a bit fuzzy about. How do they quantify? For example, what's the max for a medium-sized enterprise?
The max quantum, or how do you define what?
How do you define? Yeah, how do they define? Is it in terms of like number of employees, in terms of revenue, in terms of
revenue not above 100 million, number of employees not more than 50, if I'm not wrong. Yeah.
Sorry, can you say it again? I think I missed it.
Okay. Annual turnover not more than 100 million.
Okay.
Total number of employees not more than 50, if I'm not wrong.
Not more than 50.
SME.
Okay. Well, if you have 50 employees, you're making over 100 million, around 100 million.
Okay.
You're pretty good.
Check whether it's 50 or 150 employees. I just for a friend. He just asked me, but it was for the bank in Singapore. He's asking me whether they're considered SMEs.
Ah, okay.
But banks are not considered SMEs. They are financial institutes.
Yeah. I don't think a bank would qualify.
Yep. So enterprise with an turnover of under 100 million employs less than 200 workers. Sorry.
Oh,
200.
okay, got it. Okay, under
Yeah,
200
yeah,
workers. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
got it.
Oh, yeah.
And that could be okay. And they need to be Singapore based. Or sorry, how do I say this? Singapore based SMEs.
Singapore registered entities.
Okay, so if the company is Singapore based, but there has operations in say Malaysia and Indonesia, and that encompasses maybe 60-70% of their workforce. Not no.
Not encouraged.
Not encouraged. Okay. So they have to have the majority of their workforce based in Singapore.
Yes, because all the grants are mainly for Singaporeans.
Yes, of course.
You're a Singapore-based company and you are a majority Singaporean-based owned company, and you are expanding overseas. We actually fund you for your overseas expansion, but we don't we don't fund foreigners who bring their base here.
Okay, so you fund for the expansion, but not necessarily if they've already expanded. And okay, got it. So the expansion could, I guess, mean it encompass a whole different things. You talked about IT, you talked about finance, talked about marketing and sales. That expanding overseas could encompass any of those elements. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Overseas.
Yeah.
You mean overseas expansion?
Overseas expansion. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Overseas expansion, depending on the level of project, they can actually fund you for your rental. They fund you for the cost of sending a local over. The salaries is funded.
Wow. Okay.
So your whole build-up cost and your whole strategic marketing, incorporation cost, they can fund up to 70% of all these things. Nitty-gritty, some 50%, some 70% co-funding.
Okay, that's actually a pretty good deal then.
Very good. So we are actually pushing all the Singaporeans out of their comfort zone.
Okay.
We are, how to say, Singaporeans are really kiasu, kiasi. We really don't want to leave our comfort zone very much. So there's no factor to push or pull us out.
Yeah. No. So this helps them, giving them, okay. No, I think it makes perfect sense. It's actually a very, very good incentive to grow, either internationally or even in the region. So
we have more than 100 grants in Singapore.
Sorry, 100 what?
We have more than 100 grants in Singapore.
More than 100 grants in Singapore. Okay. Wow.
So that's really, really, there's certain industries that I don't even know. Like shipping, they're very niche and very specialized grants for certain industries.
Okay. So once again, it sounds like the opportunities are enormous. I guess just about, like you said, navigating some of the complexities, especially for larger quantums. And this is where, once again, plugging the business, but someone could reach out to you and get some support on getting some of those grants.
Yes, because even for us, we also need to research depending on what industry you're in, whether you've experienced. I won't say that I've experienced in all types of grants, even for myself, because there's so many of them. But the common ones.
Okay. No, I think it makes perfect sense. I think this has been extremely, eye-opening for me as well as a kind of a small business owner. I'm curious, how can people get in touch with you to find out more about what you do and more about what your company does?
Maybe you can share about our contact details. I'll also send over shortly. Maybe
okay.
You can flash them.
Sure. I'll check out the and obviously the contact details, the website, U Ventures. Yes, we'll share all that in the description. And like I said, if you have any questions, if you're watching this, if you have any questions around, SME grants or around Singapore, please talk to Jace and the team. Sure she'd be happy to help.
Yeah. You can email or WhatsApp us. There'll be the link. I will. Then maybe you can flash contact U Ventures staff.
Yeah, wonderful. I'll include the contact details in the description itself. So thank you so much, Jace. I really, really appreciated it. I learned a lot, so thank you so much.
Yep. I found you a partner. So even if you may not be certified now and you have a good project you want to tap, maybe you can work on partnerships. Because I want to share that there are a lot of things like even for yourself, maybe you are well versed in certain industries and your partners could be well versed in other industries. You can work out something, I believe.
Ah, okay. That's something interesting to explore as well, because you do a lot of partnerships as part of the business. So okay, definitely something to dive
Yes.
into deeper. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jace. Like I said, if you're watching this video and you found it helpful, please feel free to share it with a colleague or anyone who might find it helpful, or get in touch with Jace for more information. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. Thanks so much again, Jace. Thank you for everyone watching, and take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.